up, YouTube? It's your boy RushMoreRick, and we're back with another reaction video. 5 times vloggers mess with the wrong cartels. Let's tap in.
In 2011, 2 young people are found hanging from a bridge in Nuevo Laredo. That's their punishment for being involved in cartel business. And they left a chilling note beside them that would change the lives of others forever. We got times when vloggers are messing with cartels.
We're completely reckless. I would say even idiots. Idiots. Not even think about the worst case scenario. Nothing.
In 2023, 2 vloggers started making plans to set out on one of their most daring projects. One that would nearly cost them their lives, planning to document the journey of migrants from Central America to the US border. Now that's a really stupid thing to do, and they were about to step into some of the most secretive and violent operations in the region. Both the guys are well known in the travel vlogging community for their fearless approach to content. Carter, a Finnish adventurer, had gained notoriety for his high-risk explorations, documenting war zones, crime-ridden neighborhoods, and even no-go zones that mainstream media avoided. Then there's Rich, a British travel vlogger, building his brand on raw, unfiltered storytelling, often venturing into forgotten corners of the world, particularly in post-Soviet states and Latin America. Now, their collaboration started after meeting at a vlogging event in late 2023, when they instantly bonded over their shared love for high-stakes content. Both had separately filmed in dangerous regions, but this time, they wanted to take their riskiest challenge yet, infiltrate.
See, and this be the thing, right? You know what I'm saying? Chasing that dragon. I understand, right? And I feel like their content was something that's something that's good. You know what I'm saying? More people should want to see how other people struggle to get to the place of luxury that we are in. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is born in America. Not everybody's born in a first world country where we're able to just, you know, just not have to deal with having a fucked up life or go through the process of escaping that fucked up life to get to a place like America or some type of first world country and stuff like that. So it's cool that people are putting themselves in these shoes, but at the same time, you got to ask yourself with certain trips, certain things that you're doing, is the content worth it? Is the recording this experience worth it? Yes, if you make it out alive, it will do something good for the views of, you know, your channel in terms of you trying to boost your content, boost your following, and just, you know, get some type of social media notoriety. But at the same time, you put yourself in certain situations where it costs you your life, you know. And some of this shit, like, you just got to think about it, say it out loud. Is this worth doing? You know what I'm saying? Even if I survive through the grace of God, is this worth doing? Am I gonna, you know, wake up and be like, yeah, I did that shit? If not, then shit like that don't even really be worth it, bro. It really don't.
Trading human smuggling routes in Mexico.
Damn,
so in early 2024, the 2 get to Mexico ready to immerse themselves in this experience. Their plan was simple: embed themselves with a group of migrants heading north and film every aspect of the journey, from the border crossings and cartel checkpoints to the extortion and violence many migrants endure. Now, they believed that they'd done their research. Rich even secured contacts who assured him safe passage. But now you're in cartel territory, and all that means nothing. Almost immediately, warning signs appeared. Locals urged them to put their cameras away, telling them that filming in certain spots is a death wish. Cartel lookouts, known as halcones, were taking note, quietly reporting their presence. Now, we don't know how they tried to blend in, but they kind of really stood out because of their accents, expensive equipment, and
I was about to say, one of these niggas is literally a fucking, what is he? He's 6 foot plus, obviously. A 6 foot plus British guy. He got relatively cleaner clothes than it looks like than them. And look how everybody is looking at this nigga in the background. Like, they all know that these niggas, they not one of us. I don't even know why y'all would want to put yourselves in our shoes to try to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's just, it's like weird to me. And obviously, if I'm sitting here from the comfort of my home and I'm able to depict this, imagine the people that's there who live this shit on a daily basis. They know who an outsider is, you know?
They're constant questions. So their bold approach only really made things worse. They filmed openly, capturing interactions at cartel control checkpoints and recording stories of migrants who'd already been extorted. Their footage, if it was released, would have been highly damaging to the cartels. You shouldn't play a game if you don't know the rules, and these guys were about to lose. The breaking point comes one night as they travel with a group of migrants near the cartel-infested region of Tamaulipas. And as they rest at a makeshift stop, a convoy of armed men suddenly surround them. Oh, this isn't your friendly local law enforcement. We have cartel sicarios, and the migrants are now separated into groups, some being forced to pay bribes to continue their journey. Now, when the cartel operatives reached Carter and Rich, their demeanor changed. These two guys aren't supposed to be here. Their expensive cameras and audio equipment make them look like undercover journalists, or, even worse, DEA agents. Now, before they could react, they're blindfolded, forced into a pickup truck, and driven deep into cartel-controlled territory. The ride is long, bumpy, and filled with tense silence, broken only by the occasional bursts of Spanish.
I gotta change my shirt. We gonna resume the video. I promise you. BRB. 1 second. All right, let's go.
None of which sounded reassuring. So for the next 48 hours, Carter and Rich are held in a small windowless room, subjected to relentless questioning.
Who sent you? You DEA? CIA?
Oh, hell no.
The accusations came in waves, fueled by paranoia that they were spies. Now, their captors were ruthless. Every answer seemed to bring on more suspicion, more aggression. At one point, Rich was dragged from the room, his terrified screams echoing throughout the hallway. Then came a gunshot. Carter sat frozen, his mind racing. Had his friend just been executed? He braces for the inevitable. But hours passed. And then...
they baited him.
Nothing. The psychological torment continued. Just when Carter believed that they wouldn't make it out alive, their fate takes an unexpected turn. A higher-ranking cartel member intervenes. Whether they found out they were two reckless vloggers or even feared the media attention their deaths would bring, the two are given an ultimatum. Leave Mexico immediately, never return, and forget everything you saw. Now, before their release, the cartel made sure they would leave empty-handed. Goodbye cameras, footage, and personal belongings. To Carter's shock, Rich was still alive. Shaken, bruised, and stripped of everything, but alive. And they would walk for miles until they reached this small town, where they found some help and booked the first flight out of the country. When they got back home, the two were both different men. Rich, the once fearless explorer, now became noticeably more cautious. Now, he continued vlogging, but kinda stopped talking about cartels. That ordeal had left him deeply shaken.
Yeah, it's like a few things that you don't want to do, you know what I'm saying? Like even talking about the cartels too long, saying the wrong things, you know what I'm saying? Thinking because you putting yourselves in certain people's shoes temporarily, thinking that you've gained the trust of different cultures, thinking that you've gained access to just freely talk about certain things, that really puts like a bad taste in certain people's mouths in certain parts of the world. You know what I'm saying? Us over here, we don't have no beef with the cartel. The only reason we talking about them is because we watching this video right here. Other than that, we are not just talking about them, discussing them. You know what I'm saying? You got to let people do what they do, and you know what I'm saying? And avoid all the negative that comes with that.
And he's not going to put his life at risk anymore for that crap. Carter, though, still drawn to the adrenaline-fueled adventures, learns to actually now respect the invisible lines that, if crossed, could mean death. Now, even though he continues his high-risk content, he takes far fewer chances when dealing with organized crime. This near-death experience is a cautionary tale about how many creators walk a fine line between curiosity and recklessness, and these two idiots had stepped too far. They picked the wrong cartel to mess with, and they were very lucky to walk away with their lives.
All for some content. Keep that in mind.
In the early hours of September 24th, 2011, in Nuevo Laredo, Mexico, the amputated body of Nena De Laredo was found near a busy intersection with a chilling, handwritten message. It was signed with 4 Z's, the unmistakable signature of the Zetas. Now, before we get to the gruesome details of her execution, we gotta talk about how Nena De Laredo, a simple vlogger, unfortunately pissed off one of Mexico's biggest criminal empires at the time. Marisol Macias Castañeda, better known as Nena de Laredo or La Nena de Laredo online, was an editor-in-chief of the Primera Hora newspaper in Nuevo Laredo. And behind the screen, she was a fearless citizen, using social media to warn the public about cartel movements, shootouts, and roadblocks. Now, at the time, traditional media in Mexico had already been silenced. Newsrooms were facing threats, kidnappings, and assassinations on a daily basis, leading many to stop reporting on cartel activity altogether. Marisol was secretly posting updates on Nuevo Laredo en Vivo, Nuevo Laredo Live, a platform where locals could share cartel-related dangers and even tip off the authorities. This would become a go-to source for real-time updates on violence and, for some, even a lifeline. People finally had a digital space where they could speak freely and anonymously. At least that's what they believed.
I was about to say,
you see, because cartels are actually watching. Now, her bravery would come at a devastating price. Los Zetas hunted her down and brutally killed her. And they didn't just kill her. They ripped off her head and placed it on a stone monument. Next to that would be a keyboard.
And this is the only questions that I be having is like, why be so violent and be so creative with the violence? Are we trying to make an example out of people? I think that's really what it is. They do some fucked up shit to the point where they make an example and it's like, you know, not to fuck with like those people. But that shit is just so crazy to me. Like, it's like, to me, you would just think certain shit like that is just unwarranted and like unethical. Like the soul in you, how does the soul in you allow you to do something so vile to another person?
Some cables and discs. An unmistakable message that her death was a direct response to her online activism. To top this off, they left a chilling message that said,
Nuevo Laredo en Vivo and social networking sites. I'm the Laredo girl, and I'm here because of my reports, and yours. For those who don't want to believe, this happened to me because of my actions, for trusting in the Army and Navy. Thank you for your attention. Respectfully, Laredo girl.
She was one of the first people murdered for posting something like this on social media. When they found her body near the Texas border, authorities had confirmed her identity, though some media outlets reported different versions of her name. Shockingly, she wasn't an investigative reporter at Primera Hora. She was an administrator. But the cartel doesn't care. They somehow uncovered her true identity, and the news of her death would send shockwaves throughout the online community and country. Nuevo Laredo en Vivo users were outraged and terrified. Some others refused to be silenced. Meanwhile, paranoia was just growing. Press freedom organizations condemned Marisol's murder, calling it a terrifying precedent for journalists and citizen reporters alike. This would be the first documented case of cartel killing someone explicitly for posting on social media. Her death was part of a broader pattern, though. Around the same time, two individuals, a man and this woman, were found hanging from a bridge in Nuevo Laredo, simply because they posted the same kind of stuff that Nena did on that same site. Their bodies now displaying signs of extreme torture. A message left with them as well, making it clear that even non-traditional journalists, like bloggers, online activists, and independent videographers, are not safe. Now, after Marisol's death, in just 2012 alone, 10 journalists were killed in Nuevo Laredo. One of the most chilling of these would be the killing of Felina, real name Maria del Rosario Fuentes Rubio, a doctor who contributed to the citizen journalism platform Valor por Tamaulipas, which focused on exposing cartel violence. In 2014, she was kidnapped and executed, with her killers taking over her Twitter account to post pictures of her murder as a warning. The case would become another example of the dangers in using social media to report on organized crime. Many vloggers who attempted to film cartel-controlled areas in Nuevo Laredo went missing, though their disappearances were often undocumented due to secrecy surrounding such cases. In the years following these high-profile killings in the city, social media-based reporting on cartels became increasingly covert. Some platforms like Valor por Tamaulipas eventually shut down due to...
Yeah, because it's like, why you gotta start to realize, nigga, read the room. These niggas, they're not playing with y'all. Like, they see y'all as informants. They see y'all as snitches. They see y'all, anybody who opposes what they got going on, you're in the way, and they won't hesitate to get you out of the way. Me personally, if you're living, especially if you live in Mexico, you know what I'm saying? Why report on something that could do harm to you and that's so close to you? Like, them niggas are literally within the arm's reach of you. And you can't hide, you can't be anonymous, because they're just going to figure out who you are. And once they do, you know, it's, and nobody, like, I don't know, man.
Security concerns. Even today, the threat is still there. Anyone attempting to document cartel activities in Mexico, especially in Nuevo Laredo, whether through text, video, or social media, faces the real possibility of violent retribution. Whatever the answer, one thing is clear. The war against truth had reached cyberspace.
Looking for places to film Narcos. We are aware of the passing of Carlos Munoz Porto, a well-respected location scout, and they're killing the scouts, the niggas who just trying to find locations for them to film Netflix shows. Oh my lord.
In September 2017, a seasoned location scout met a tragic and mysterious end while on assignment for Netflix's hit series, Narcos. No witnesses, no clear suspects, and a crime scene shrouded in silence. So we can't help to ask, was this guy simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, or did he knowingly cross into cartel territory?
I feel like either one of those options is wrong place, wrong time, because if you knowingly went somewhere that you knew that the cartel even had a slighter chance of being, and they were just so happened to be there when you were there and you got caught there, nigga, that is wrong place, wrong time. No matter what.
Well, let's find out.
Born in Mexico, Munoz Portal made a career using his homeland as the setting for cinema fantasy, scouting locations for the James Bond film Spectre, the Fast and Furious franchise.
Carlos Munoz Portal was a top Mexican location scout known for finding breathtaking remote spots for films like Spectre, Sicario, and Fast and Furious. But in 2017, while scouting for Narcos, his search for the perfect backdrop took him straight into cartel territory, a kind of place that no one would actually want to go to. A little backstory into Carlos was that he's born and raised in Mexico and developed a passion for film production at an early age. He built his career as a location scout, a job that would require extensive travel and first-hand knowledge of Mexico's most visually striking and narratively compelling landscapes. He worked on productions that would require gritty, realistic settings, often venturing into areas where drug-related violence was rampant. His work on Sicario and Spectre had already put him in close proximity to cartel-controlled areas. But his professionalism and experience allowed him to navigate these dangerous environments. So in September 2017, Carlos is scouting locations in central Mexico for Narcos, Mexico, the Netflix series that chronicles the rise of the drug cartels in the country. Now, the production team was looking for this authentic, gritty location that could serve as a backdrop for the show's depiction of the drug trade. Carlos is alone in his car, looking for the perfect place to film, when he unknowingly crosses into a very dangerous area. His body was later found in his car in Temascalapa, a town near the state of Mexico and Hidalgo, one of the regions plagued by cartel violence.
Y'all seen that?
This poor man had been shot multiple times, and the circumstances of his death were chilling. A seasoned location scout, familiar with the risks of the job, had met a very violent end. Authorities speculated the cartel may have mistaken him for an undercover agent or even a rival operative. Others make it more simple. An unfamiliar face with a camera and notes, maybe it drew suspicion to a place where strangers weren't welcome. Either way, the impact of Carlos's murder sent shockwaves throughout the film industry. Narcos Mexico was forced to reconsider its filming locations, and the crew became acutely aware now of the dangers of working in cartel-dominated territories. The Mexican government even launched its own investigation. But like many other cartel-related murders, the case went cold.
And I was about to say that. It's like the cartels in Mexico, they get away with so much shit, and it's just like the government, I wonder if they even really truly try. Simply, because like if they even were to try to put a face to a name or blame a group for this or that, them niggas have to live there. You know what I'm saying? Their families are at risk. Their selves are at risk. You know what I'm saying? Other people close to them are at risk. So it's like, do you just let the cartels continue to do what they want, or do you try to put a stop to it? But in light of that, you open up so many other potential dangers that get extremely close to home. It's like, how do you even stop that? Do you? Because niggas are dying every day in the most gruesome ways.
Exact motives of the killing were never confirmed. But this poor man's death served as a grim reminder that even those who document the world's darkest corners are not immune to its dangers. In March 2024, Malouf set his sights on Haiti, a country in the grip of gang violence. His goal was to interview Jimmy Barbecue Cherizé, a feared gang leader.
Yeah, this is one of the stories that I know like briefly of, but like around that time that it was going on, like I was like following it.
Responsible for orchestrating mass violence and controlling large sections of Port-au-Prince. However, within days of his arrival, Malouf's adventure takes a terrifying turn. While moving through gang-controlled areas, he and his Haitian guide, Jean-Sacre Chanrubin, were abducted by members of the notorious 400 Mawazo gang, a ruthless group known for mass kidnappings, extortion, and executions, and held for a ransom of $600,000.
And I will say that's one of my biggest fears of traveling to any place that, you know, a lot of Americans don't go, or a lot of people, like, it's not like a tourist destination. A lot of these niggas in this video, don't get me wrong, they're not doing it purely for I want to see the world, I want to travel, I want to, you know, discover some shit. No, these niggas, they go out the country with cameras. They're trying to record something. They're looking for something, whether it be, you know what I'm saying, like the examples of the first dude just trying to record the passage from one place to point A, point B, or this nigga right here he's doing journalism, attempting journalism to interview one of the most dangerous men on the planet. One of the most dangerous men that probably ever stepped foot in Haiti. If you have a fear of traveling already as just a regular civilian, as opposed to doing the work that these niggas are doing, like, this shit is crazy. And this is why a lot of people don't travel, because you're always at risk of something happening, being in a brand new place that you've never been to. And it sucks that you can't just travel anywhere, because stuff like this, anything can happen. You could be kidnapped and held for rent. That's one of my biggest fears. I don't want to go somewhere for the first time and then, you know, my experience get ruined because I'm fucking kidnapped and held for ransom because niggas, just because I'm from America, a nigga think I'm a millionaire. Nigga, if you kidnap me and request $1 million and some change, my nigga, you might as well kill me right there, because I ain't got that. Not yet anyway. We gonna get that, but right now I ain't got that. So it's almost like, damn, y'all niggas is just kidnapping and killing and extorting because you just think anybody who comes from a first world country comes from money, when not all of us do. And that shit sucks.
I'm Arab. I spent my early 20s locked in my room as a professional gamer. Quickly noticed my life passing before my eyes. Now, I spend my time exploring the globe's most dangerous and undocumented places because riding the line of death is where I feel most alive.
Stupidity. Riding the line of death is where I feel the most alive. My nigga, I promise you, there are so many things that you can do in a safe environment that makes you feel alive, as opposed to going somewhere where you're not welcomed, or where they're not really welcoming people that aren't born there, and potentially losing your life. I promise you, there's so many things you can do to get that, just to scratch that adrenaline junkie itch that you apparently have. Like, why are we feeling most alive by almost dying? Why?
Addison Malouf became known online as your fellow Arab, a daring content creator building a reputation off of traveling to some of the world's most dangerous places. Unlike typical travel vloggers who focus mainly on luxury vacations and scenic destinations, Malouf's looking for the high-risk places, immersing himself in the lives of gang members, war-torn communities, and even cartel-controlled territories. His fearless approach to storytelling attracted millions of viewers. But in 2024, his thirst would lead him to one of his most dangerous encounters yet, one that nearly cost him his life. Maloof's YouTube career began back in 2016, primarily focusing on gaming content like Fortnite and Grand Theft Auto 5. However, as the demand for real-life adventure content grew, he pivoted toward immersive experiences, driving into crime-ridden neighborhoods, favelas, and cartel strongholds. His ability to communicate with locals and gain their trust made his content raw, unfiltered, and dangerously authentic. In 2023, he gained international attention after interviewing a balaclava-clad gang in a Rio de Janeiro favela, an experience that fueled his desire to explore even more perilous territories.
On day 2, we're granted access to a deep underground stash house, where the boys then take me to the mountains of CDMX at 2 in the morning to unload their arsenal.
One would think that after that experience with Haiti, he would just stop. But no, Arab journeyed into the world of organized crime. This time, it wasn't just another adventure. It was a high-stakes gamble where one wrong move could have turned his 5-day stay with the Mexican cartel into his final vlog.
For the next 100 hours, I will be living with the most dangerous cartel in the entire world. The only thing the world knows about these guys is that they're some of the most ruthless killers that exist.
Now, he'd already proven his willingness to venture into dangerous places, but this time he wasn't just passing through. He was living amongst them, eating with them, traveling with them, and seeing firsthand how they operated. Unlike his controlled interview settings with gang members in Brazil or Haiti, this experience put him in the middle of a world where trust was fragile and suspicion could turn deadly.
How much longer this one? I think we're gonna stop after his story, obviously, but this dude talking is like putting me to sleep. Shit is like hard to listen to.
In an instant.
All right, we're in Mexico City. We're meeting up now with our plug, who's supposed to introduce us to the cartel. So, don't know if I'm excited or not. What's up, boss? How are you? Hola.
Welcome.
Buenos dias. How are you, bro? Give me a hug. Mi amigo.
Ah, yes.
From the moment he got to Mexico, Arab had to prove he wasn't a threat. Cartels don't take kindly to outsiders, especially those with cameras asking too many questions. So he managed to get access through contacts he'd built over time. But that didn't mean he was completely safe.
Chilacayota. Trying a chilacayota.
Chilacayota.
It's got this pulp texture inside of it.
These are guys who deal with betrayal and violence daily. Paranoia is not just part of their lives, it's necessary for survival. Even the slightest misstep, an ill-timed joke, a casual remark, just looking at a wrong person for too long, could have been enough to make them turn on him.
Okay, I'm scared for my life. And the only way for me to pretend that I'm not is to tell you guys to just not think about it. To just pretend that it doesn't exist.
Saludo! Salud! Salud!
One close call came when Arab was invited to a private meeting between cartel members. The atmosphere's thick with tension.
I don't think if I was in his situation and I got invited to a personal meeting between two cartel groups, I would have to get some more information, obviously. But even still, with the information that I would receive, I think I would not go because shit could always go left. Always go left. And you don't want to be somebody who's in the middle like, yo, who brought this fucking guy? And now look, now both of them potentially looking at you like, hey, we wouldn't be in this right now if you wasn't here. But you only reason here because y'all niggas invited me. So you want to know how I solved that problem? Don't go. Don't be there in the first place.
With armed men discussing their ongoing conflicts, logistics, and ironically, security threats. Arab sits among them, fully aware that if anybody in this room decided he didn't belong, he's dead, no second chances. If he'd pulled out his camera at the wrong time, if someone had suspected this guy was secretly working with the cops, or if they just simply decided they didn't like him, he wouldn't have walked away. I mean, how many stories do we know where journalists, vloggers, and regular civilians stumble in by accident to cartel business and disappear without a trace? Now, his time in Mexico would put him in situations where danger wasn't just theoretical. It was literally inches away.
Little ass kids with guns.
Cartel convoys don't operate like your standard road trip. They move fast, in bulletproof vehicles, and anyone following too closely or looking too curious could be an undercover cop, a rival gang member, or a government informant. And at one point,
so what you supposed to see these niggas like riding on the street and just in these big ass fucking groups and just not pay them no mind, just ignore them. These niggas is in what they call a convoy of AK-47 yielding murderers, and you're supposed to just not even give them the time of day, no attention, because if you do, then you a DEA or you an informant or you some type of, you know what I'm saying, some type of, that shit is crazy.
Arab is a part of this convoy. The cartel members are on edge, weapons ready. A wrong turn, a surprise police checkpoint, or even an unexpected rival attack could turn this adventure into a full-blown shootout. Now, Arab also witnessed the reality of cartel paranoia when he saw how they dealt with outsiders who weren't supposed to be there. A man's brought in for questioning, suspected of leaking information out there. The cartel didn't leave loose ends. This moment reinforced a chilling truth. If they thought he was an informant, a spy, or just an untrustworthy guest, he's gone. But hey, his biggest skill is the ability to blend in and adapt. Arab knew how to navigate these conversations, when to stay silent, and how to position himself as an observer rather than a participant.
Yeah, but at the same time, you like playing with fire, bro. Like, you know a candle can burn you, but the closer you get to the candle and you just around the candle and you like, oh, I'm not touching it. It's not going to burn me if I don't touch it. But you're close and you're around it. Why are you even putting yourself so close to the candle? Why are you putting yourself so close to the danger? It's almost like, it's like certain stuff I get is journalism. Certain stuff I get that people want to vlog, but certain content is not, like, this is not content. This is not internet shit. These are other niggas' lives. Other niggas live this shit. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get the fascination with wanting to document that type of lifestyle. I don't get what you get out of that. I don't get what the people watch get out of that. Well, you get entertainment, but at the same time, entertainment that comes at the cost of your life if you do or say the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand.
But you know, even that's not always enough. There was a moment when cartel members began questioning his true intentions. Why was he there? Who was he really working for? His ability to talk his way out of these dangerous situations saved him before. But in this moment, he's realizing just how thin that line is between being a guest and being a liability. The reality of cartel living hit him in unexpected ways. Despite the media's portrayal of ruthless, faceless killers, Arab saw the human side of these men. Some of these guys were just trying to survive in a world where there were no other options. Some had been forced into this as teenagers. Others were born into it. But these little moments of humanity wouldn't change their brutal nature. Everyone he met lived under a constant shadow of death, whether from rival factions, the police, or even their own organization if they made a mistake. One of the closest calls he had was when he was moving through a cartel-controlled town and nearly crossed paths with a rival group. Had someone mistaken him for an associate of the wrong faction, he would have been executed right there. Because for these people, explanations don't come first, bullets do. And so, reflecting on his experience, Arab admitted that he underestimated just how dangerous things could get. This guy had lived with gang members before, but cartels are entirely different. Their world isn't about just crime.
Damn, this nigga, he was supposed to be, like, where's his example at? I don't think I'm gonna end the video right there because we got the example with all the other people and what happened. This nigga's getting his own fucking biopic and we don't need to be here for that. We're falling asleep. I'm tired of listening to this nigga talk. about nothing. So it's been your boy RushMoreRick. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying new different videos on the channel. I got pretty much whatever you're interested in. I'm pretty sure I have, whether it's multiple videos or even just one video, I have a video on the channel for you. So make sure you binge the rest of the videos on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we're out of here. Peace.